What is going on today, guys? AU here, and today I'm bringing you the Week 3 battle of our National Showdown League. Now, if you don't know, this is the Draft League. Check the description below. There will be a link to the playlist. You can catch up the draft analysis, the Week 1 and Week 2 battles, and I guess you're here for Week 3. There will also be a video or a link to the video at the end, so watch this video all the way to the end, and you will have an easy way to get there. Now, I do want to start out the video by saying I keep forgetting it, so I'm not gonna leave it out this time, but I've added my friend code, my Switch friend code, to the description. So if you want to go down there, take my Switch friend code, add me on the Switch, we'll be able to join raids together, things inside the game. Do that. Also, there's a link to my Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter. You'll be updated every time I post a new video or if I have a new team. And outside of that, there's not really much else to do. So if you're here and you're new and you like what you're seeing, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We're pretty close to 150 right now. It's Wednesday. This is going up on Friday, so we may be at 150 by the time this goes up. But if not, then we'll be really close. So hit that subscribe button. We're pretty close to 150 at this point. Now, I've started out this week with some transactions, and one of the transactions, actually two of the transactions, you see on the screen right now. I traded my Gmax Flapple for Gmax Lapras. Now, Lapras's move is Max Resonance, which sets up Aurora Veil, and that means that I didn't need Vanillix anymore. So I traded Vanillix for Leafeon because I have Ninetales to set Sun, and then Leafeon can kind of sweep inside the Sun. And then I traded, since I lost my Dragon type, I traded, who was it? Inteleon. I traded Inteleon for Flygon because I got a water type in Lapras. So now we're rocking our Gmax Lapras and our new Fairy Steel Dragon Core, our Fantasy Core, and then we have two old users that we've used on teams in the past. We've used Girder every single week. Girder's just so strong. But you can see my opponent's team right here on the right. He has Gmax Gengar, Dracovish, Bisharp, Ditto, Gardevoir, Wobbuffet, Charizard, Claydol, Heliolisk, and Shedinja. Now, I'm not that worried about Gengar. You can see right here, Lapras has Assault Vest. Gigalith is a special wall. If he decides to go, well, I guess those are really the only two that can take hits pretty well from Gengar. Girder can take hits, but it only takes about 3, so it's not great. But Lapras here, we're running an Assault Vest, and we're running Water Absorb for the Dracovish. The things I'm scared of are Dracovish, I'm scared of Ditto, and Gardevoir, and Heliolisk maybe. If I don't have Gigalith anymore, it can be a problem. But we're running Lapras, Assault Vest, Water Absorb for the Dracovish. We have Ice Beam, Freeze Dry for Dracovish. Thunderbolt is there in case his Ditto wants to switch in on our Lapras. We'll win that matchup because his Ditto's more than likely going to be Scarfed, and we'll be able to get Thunderbolts off. And if we're already sitting behind Aurora Veil, then his Thunderbolts aren't going to do that much damage, and ours are going to do a lot of damage. So that's the reason I'm running Thunderbolt. And then we have Surf in case we want to set up the rain or something. It can also hit the Claydol. Claydol could be running Yache Berry or the Pasho Berry, which lowers the ice and water type moves. So if it's running one of those and we hit it with the move that the berry is debuffing, then that could be a problem, but I don't think it really is going to be. Claydol's probably just there on his team to set rocks and to spin, but rocks don't really do anything to my team. It does a little bit to Lapras. It can be kind of annoying, but outside of that, rocks don't do a lot to his team either, other than the Shedinja, which I don't think I have to worry about because I have Sand. So I don't think he brings Shedinja this week. I think the team he's going to bring is probably Gengar, Dracovish, Bisharp, Ditto, Heliolisk, and Gardevoir. And so we kind of wall everything. Lapras can wall everything except the Heliolisk. Even behind Aurora Veil with Assault Vest, Heliolisk does a good bit of damage. But that is where our Gigalith comes in, because Gigalith is a really special wall, especially in Sand. So we can switch in on things like Charizard, we can switch in on Heliolisk, we can switch in on Gardevoir, we can switch in on the Gengar even to an extent, but I think it's like KO'd in 3 hits. But the main thing I was worried about was Heliolisk, so we can switch on Heliolisk, and if he decides to Grass Knot, then we take 3. Like, it takes 3 for him to knock us out, but we also KO him with Earthquake and 1. So it's a win for us. We can also swap in on the Gardevoir, and Heavy Slam will KO that. So that's also a win. And if either one of those are, like if he's Focus Blast Heliolisk, then it's the same as long as he's Life Orb. I don't think he's going to be running Specs. Now, if he is running Specs, then it might be a problem. But if I can tell that he's not Specs before I need to switch in, then that's fine. So we're also running a Weakness Policy Aegislash. This is for if I can get, if like it's in on the Gengar, I can set up a King Shield if he's maxed and just kind of let him max, what's it called? The max Ghost move. Phantasm. If he can max Phantasm through my King Shield and set off my Weakness Policy, he could also maybe like Sucker Punch with his Bisharp, which I don't think KOs as long as we're in Shield form. But he can also Sucker Punch with his Bisharp to set off our Weakness Policy. He could like maybe Earthquake or something with his Claydol. So there's a lot of chances for him to set off the Weakness Policy, and if he does, then we can kind of run through his team outside of Bisharp with Shadow Sneak. But we do have Close Combat for Bisharp. We have Close Combat for Heliolisk. I feel like there was something else I needed Close Combat for. Nope, that's the only things we need Close Combat for. But it also can sit in on Wobbuffet. So Wobbuffet was actually kind of annoying whenever I was practicing with this team, because he can trap my Pokemon. Like if he switches Wobbuffet in, then I can't leave, and he could also be running Encore, and he could be running Mirror Coat and Counter, and who knows the last move for it. I don't know if it gets like Recover or anything, but it's only a damaging moves are Mirror Coat and Counter. So our physical Aegislash can't be hit by Counter, so we can sit in on that Wobbuffet and just either it stays in and it dies, or it has to switch out and then it lets us switch out into something else. So that's like my main Wobbuffet counter. It also, if he switches in on my Aegislash with his Ditto, then that can be a problem. But at that point, he's probably going for like Shadow Sneak or something, which I can go into like Girder or something like that to deal with. Because on Girder, we are running Eviolite Guts, but we have Drain Punch, Mach Punch, and this week we're running High Horsepower. We're running High Horsepower for Gengar. We're running it for, I feel like there was someone else who were running it for, Heliolisk, which we can hit by Super Effect. So I guess the only reason I was running it was for Gengar. But that's just so he can't like stay in on my Girder with his Gengar. He actually has to be kind of scared of it. So we have Bulk Up as our last slot to just catch the swap outs. We can just bulk up and get that attack boost. I think that a Mach Punch after Rocks on Bisharp KOs it, and I'm not sure about Heliolisk. I'm actually going to do the calc after I get through recording this team breakdown. But we're running 252 HP, a good bit of defense, and then the rest is just into attack with Adamant. And then we have Flygon here. Flygon is here to answer a Scarf Dracovish. It's here to answer a fast, like Gengar is pretty fast already, so if it's maxed, we'll outspeed it with Scarf. It's there to answer the Heliolisk. If the Heliolisk is not Scarf, then we'll outspeed. It answers the Bisharp. All those things it answers with Earthquake. Now, the annoying part is if he switches in with Rotom. If he switches in with Rotom, then we Speed Tie. And if he switches in with Rotom on an Earthquake, then he gets Levitate and it doesn't even hit. He could also do the same thing with Trace Gardevoir. If he switches in with Trace Gardevoir and I'm Earthquaking, then he gets Levitate and it doesn't hit, which can be annoying, but we have switch-ins to both of those things. Like if he decides to go Flygon, or switches in Ditto, and it turns into Flygon, I can pretty much go into my Sylveon every single time, because he doesn't have a lot that's going to hit me for like super hard with this Flygon set right here. And then Sylveon, we're just running Leftovers Pixelate with Hyper Voice, Wish, Quick Attack, and Protect. We're just running max HP, max defense, Hold with 4 special attack. I got Quick Attack in case like he decides to Focus Sash something. Like Focus Sash Gengar's kind of common, He could also focus dash his Heliolisk. It could also, like, this can do some quick damage to Dracovish. Like if Dracovish decides that it just wants to Fishious Rend and I have Sylveon in, I can quick attack and go first and make that Fishious Rend a lot less powerful, because Fishious Rend gets doubled if it goes first, but it won't ever go first if I'm quick attacking. So the only thing I have to worry about with this Dracovish really is if he's running low kick. If he runs low kick and he reads my switch in on Lapras, then that can be bad, but we live 2. So if we are at full HP, we will be able to live the next one. Because usually he's going to swap one of his Dracovish in on my Gigalith, so he's probably going to switch in on Gigalith, which means at that point he either can Fishious Rend, which definitely OHKOs, or he can low kick, which takes 3 hits to KO Gigalith. But if I swap into Lapras, then I'll eat the Fishious Rend with Water Absorb, but he can also 3 OHKO Lapras with low kick, so then I only have 2 moves after that to be able to deal with it. But all my practice matches went really great. I had like 6 practice matches and won 5 of them, so I'm pretty confident in my team, but there's no telling what he's going to bring. So at this point, we are scheduled to battle in about 30 minutes, so I will catch you guys there. Alright guys, so I'm actually a little annoyed. I recorded the whole battle, and there was like a huge lag spike in my Wi-Fi, so it's all super laggy. Even in the clip, I'm like, wow, my showdown's lagging a lot. But it wasn't showdown at all, it was my Wi-Fi just lagging everything on my computer. So I actually have to do some post-commentary, which kind of sucks because I was also doing in-game commentary with Vivillon Hunter, but because of the lag spike, we actually had to redo the whole commentary, so I'm going to be doing it post. You won't actually hear my thoughts or anything. You won't hear my thoughts or anything, but you'll hear what I did, and I'll explain why I did it, and we'll actually see if this works out better. Maybe post-commentary is something that works out a little bit better with these matches, but we're actually going to start right here. You can see I led Aegislash and he led Heliolisk. I was scared of him leading Wobbuffet. I didn't want to be stuck. I was going to lead Flygon, but I didn't want to be stuck if he was led Wobbuffet. So I led Aegislash just to be safe. And then right out the bat, I actually switch into Flygon and he goes for a Dark Pulse. So nothing too like game breaking happened right then. But I went for a Stone Edge here, thinking that he would bring in Charizard, right? Because he didn't actually even bring, I was expecting Gardevoir, he didn't bring Gardevoir. I was expecting Gengar, he didn't bring Gengar. I was expecting Ditto, he didn't bring Ditto. All of those things I'm completely fine with because the Pokemon that he did bring we countered pretty hard. But I was expecting that swap in a Charizard right there, so that's why I went for the Stone Edge. So we actually switch out into Girder here because we know he can't do a lot to Girder and he Sucker Punched, so it didn't matter. And then here we Mach Punched because that would have picked up the KO on the Bisharp. And this is where I start bulking up because he can, I'm trapped at this point. And like I said in the team builder before, if he traps me with Wobbuffet and Girder's in, I'm just bulking up. Regardless of if he encores me or not, I'm just going to keep clicking bulk up because eventually I can make a safe switch once he switches Wobbuffet out. Because if he lets me get +6, then we OHKO at that point. So I just clicked bulk up, and then he did go for the Encore. So he Encores, and then we just bulk up again, but he switches out into Charizard here. So here's where things got a little bit crazy, because he did catch me off guard with what's about to happen. But here, I always have a safe switch in with Gigalith. Gigalith is 100% Pokemon. You switch in every single time on Charizard. So we swap in Gigalith, and then he substitutes, which is crazy to me. And what he does next is even crazier. So whenever he hits substitute, I was like, oh, well, he won't stay in. He knows that I'll have Rock Slide, or I don't know if I was carrying Rock Slide or Stone Edge, but he knows I'll have one of the two, which will break his sub, and then on the next turn I'll just be able to break it again, or he can just keep subbing and waste his HP. So I was like, he'll switch out. So I go for Stealth Rocks, but he actually doesn't switch out. He went for Solar Beam, which kind of scared me a little bit because I couldn't eat 2 of those. So I actually opted to switch out Gigalith here into Sylveon. So he takes the sandstorm damage and we switch into Sylveon, and then he goes for the solar beam, which does like 17%. What is that? 14%. So like no damage at all. And here's where I actually did something that I didn't know happened. I knew Bug Buzz went through substitutes. I did not know that it was sound moves in general that went through substitutes. So I was just trying to break a sub, and then I go for a Hyper Voice on this next turn. So he flamethrowers, he didn't get a burn, which is big, and then I Hyper Voice. At this point in the match was where I was like, wow, my showdown's lagging, and it turns out it was just my whole internet lagging. But I was like trying to fix OBS, and I didn't actually realize that my Hyper Voice did damage. I was like, I came back in, I was like, wait, that didn't break sub, what is going on? And he was like, yeah, it goes through sub. And him saying that actually cost him his Charizard, because I was 100% about to click Quick Attack, and when he said that, I was like, you know what, actually I'm just gonna click Hyper Voice and pick up this KO. But I do know that for future matches now, which is pretty big for me. So he goes for Flamethrower again, and we just Hyper Voice again and pick up the KO on that Charizard, which was really big because that means that our Girder, he doesn't have a switch in our Girder anymore, and that does take away a Earthquake immunity from his team, because his 2 Earthquake immunities were Charizard and his Levitate Claydol. So he brings in his Claydol at this point, and I'm thinking that he's going to set up rocks. So I switch, but he actually sets up Nasty Plot, which was fine. Like even if he would have went for something like Focus Blast or Thunderbolt, we could have eaten at least one. But he actually makes a mistake and he goes for Nasty Plot again. Now, I think at +2 he would have been fine, just going for an attack there. But we are Assault Vest, so I wouldn't have done a lot. But here he makes another mistake by just staying in. Now I knew that he had the possibility of switching in to like Bisharp or something, but I wanted to get Aurora up, and I didn't really care if he switched into Bisharp, because then we would just be able to KO with Max Geyser on the next turn. But he actually stays in, so we get the G-Max Resonance off, and then we get our Aurora up, and he switches in with Wobbuffet. Now, Wobbuffet I was kind of scared of, but he didn't end up doing a lot to us. Even like in the video before, I was like, I hope he doesn't switch in Wobbuffet here, which he did. But now, as you can see, Rain is up, and we did like 32% the last time, so we're gonna KO him here. I didn't have to worry about Destiny Bond, because Destiny Bond doesn't work on G-Max Pokemon, so I just went ahead and picked up the KO on that Wobbuffet. So then he switches in Bisharp, and here I'm expecting, okay, he's going to go for Iron Head or Sucker Punch or something like that, which I didn't really care about because we're behind Aurora Veil. But he did something so smart here, and he brought Brick Break on his Bisharp, which I don't know why I didn't think of. I didn't run into it in any of my practice matches, but it was fine. So we just switched in Girder here, and we Drain Punch. We know that he can't hardly do anything to Girder, even if he Sucker Punches. So we just Drain Punch and we get all our health back. So now, the big thing was the Dracovish. He's in the rain right now, and if I let him move first, then he's definitely gonna Oko Girder. But I just kept Mach Punching. I Mach Punched over and over and over to keep him from getting that double damage boost from going first. And then here I was like, okay, well, it's not a big deal because he's not in rain anymore, so he's gonna do maybe like 30%. So we'll be able to live, we'll definitely be able to live 1, maybe even 2 more. But it's kind of unfortunate because he got the crit on the second one, which was kind of big for him. But we get another Mach Punch off, and he gets the KO on the Girder. Now here I did something kind of stupid. I feel like I should have just went into Flygon at this point and saved my differential. I should have just went into Flygon, clicked Earthquake, it would have killed. But I went into Sylveon thinking that Quick Attack would kill, and it did not, so he got an extra kill on my team where I shouldn't have let him get. So we Quick Attack here, and it does like 26% or something like that, and he just KOs our Sylveon. But at this point, we have pretty much won the game. We just bring in Flygon because we're Scarfed. He was Scarfed. I asked him afterwards if he was Scarfed, and he was, so it was a good thing we brought Scarf Flygon. We just click Earthquake here. So he switches into Heliolisk, he's kind of sacking that off. I think he wanted, I don't know why he switched in, but he goes back into Dracovish, and we pick up the KO with Earthquake. So that was a pretty good, let's go to the end. So that was the rundown of how our battle went. Lapras picked up 2 KOs, Girder picked up 1 KO. Sylveon picked up 1 KO, and Flygon picked up 2 KOs. So we kind of had some KOs spread across the board. But after seeing Flygon this week, I think it's going to be a force to reckon with. And Girder, as always, is putting in the work. Lapras is really surprised me. I didn't pick up Lapras at the beginning of the season because I didn't think it was actually going to be that great in singles. But it's super good in singles from this game. Now, games in the future, it might be a completely different story. But we ended up getting the win 6-3 over the Vivillon Hunters and Venerable Vivillons. I think that's their team name. But anyways, let me know if you like this post commentary stuff. I like doing the commentary during the match. It kind of helps me think a little bit more. But I guess that's where I'm probably going to leave you guys. So if you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.